Bored. Want to play video games?
Yeah, sure.
Good compromise. Hey everyone, I'm Nate Fischer.
And I'm Dennis Stack.
And we are Cinema Buffs, bringing you our review of The Magnificent Seven.
Alright, so here we are with our review of The Magnificent Seven. And before we get into it, we just want to remind you guys, go ahead and click that like button and be sure to share and subscribe. We truly appreciate all the support.
Yep.
And to show our appreciation, we're actually going to announce the winner of the $25 Amazon gift card at the end of the review.
Yeah, so stick around for that. So let's just get into the Western genre of movies. Dennis, how do you feel about Westerns? Do you like them? Do you not really fare towards them?
Oh, no, I like Westerns. And especially that era of when they're very prominent, 50s, 60s. I think that's maybe the golden age. I love the Dollars trilogy.
Yeah.
The Sergio Leone Dollars trilogy. Those are my favorite Westerns by far. And some of the more modern ones, they've been really good, but they're few and far between just in existence. And so the good ones are even fewer and farther in between. I'd say the last one I really liked was True Grit.
I like True Grit, and 3:10 to Yuma stands out in my head quite a bit. But I think that you're right. Westerns are a little scarce these days. You don't see a lot of them, but I feel a comeback a little bit with Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight, and with now The Magnificent Seven, and even the terrible movie, The Ridiculous Six. The Western genre is a little bit on the rise.
And as it is with, most Westerns, if it's not a one-man show, it's an ensemble like we have in this movie here. So, Nate, what'd you think about this Ensemble Cast? A lot of different players here.
Fantastic cast in general. The cast across the board, they're creditable actors in themselves, whether it's this movie or another one. And I felt like the chemistry was there quite a bit with this cast. I thought they took enough time for them to get to know each other and to get into the action. And really the dialogue bouncing off, they injected enough comic relief. I like the chemistry between these people. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think the chemistry of the cast works really well. And I was, actually surprised at how diverse the cast was.
Yeah.
And it worked well with the chemistry between these characters. Now, we reviewed Suicide Squad a few months ago.
Yep.
And one of my complaints about that movie was, you didn't feel like they were a team at the end because there wasn't, any real good connections or, really any kind of, sense of camaraderie. But this movie is full of it. The guys are bouncing off each other with good banter. Everybody has a good comedic moment, but it's not in Avengers territory where it's hey, quit from that guy, nothing like that. It didn't go too far with it, but the comedy was there, especially from Chris Pratt.
Yep, and finding the team was my favorite moment in the movie. Really, there's a big chunk of this movie where it's just them recruiting these people to come and do the mission that they're trying to do, and those were my favorite moments, and it was believable that these people joined in to this team.
Yeah, it's cast of outlaws, misfits.
Yeah, but when it comes to individual stories of these characters, I wasn't as thrilled with. I really like them together, but even Denzel Washington heads up this cast. He is the person that recruits, and he is, the focal point, I would say.
He's the leader.
He's the leader. But I just, his backstory was this whole little mystery through the whole thing when they could have gave it a little more exposition.
It kind of feels it might feel like it's one of those situations where it's oh, this was happening all over the Old West. But maybe it's because, we've seen the story revisited. This is a remake of a remake, Seven Samurai to Magnificent Seven to this one we have now.
Yeah.
And Seven Samurai, people call that the original action movie. So, of course, that's been, ripped off and copied and stolen from over the years.
Yeah, and I just felt like the villain, although he did a good job being that villain, we just didn't get enough time with him. He didn't seem that villainous because his name was thrown around. But we never got to see him until, it was the beginning and the end, that's it. You never really get to see him.
He was a villain by reputation.
Exactly, and I didn't feel he was that villainous by going that route.
Right. And with this director of style, this is Antoine Fuqua. He did Training Day. He did The King Arthur with Clive Owen.
Yeah.
So Equalizer with Denzel Washington. That was his most recent one. So he's got definitely some action chops. And I think that he really shows it in this movie. The action in this movie is pretty good.
Yeah, and there was some moments where I was like, That was super cool.
Yeah, Byung-hun Lee, his character.
Yeah,
that guy
so
was
cool.
sweet.
Such a cool thing to interject. Even the Native American that they put into the team as well. I thought he was super awesome. He was like almost this.
Like a stealthy. He was like a ninja. Almost.
He was he was the sniper of the team, but with a bow and arrow. He was like he hit on everyone. What'd you think of Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke, I liked him. I like the Ethan Hawke just in general. But in this one, I did like him. I just felt like, it was that storyline you saw coming, and then just like from start to finish, you knew where it was going to go from like the opening action scene, how he acts in it. It's like, okay, you already know what's going to happen to him for the rest of the movie.
And I liked him. I liked his dialogue. I liked the way he delivered it. Mm-hmm. But there was moments in this movie that was just unbelievably predictable. Yeah. Just so predictable, which is fine. There's tropes in a Western that you can throw in there. And,
right. And once again, I mean, these movies have been ripped off over the years so much, and they want to stay faithful to the material. So, well, Nate, I think we both enjoyed this movie, but why don't you go ahead and put a number on it?
Okay, I did enjoy this movie. It's refreshing to see a new Western, and I hope more come from this that are this respectable and well made. There was a few pacing issues. I didn't like the villain too much. There were some side stories, so there was some things here and there that I didn't care for. But all in all, I had a great experience at the theater. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Oh, nice.
Magnificent 7.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I also enjoyed this one, and I am a big fan of the Western genre, so a lot of this was familiar territory for me. Mm-hmm. But it was done really well. As far as remakes go, this is actually pretty good. It's faithful. I can't say it's better than the original. I prefer Seven Samurai anyway. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'll also agree with you on Magnificent 7 gets a 7 from me.
7s across the board. All right, everyone, so that's our review of The Magnificent 7. What did you guys think? Did you like the film? Did you like the review? Leave all your comments below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Appreciate all the support.
Yep, but before we leave you, as promised, we're going to announce the winner of the $25 Amazon gift card. Drum roll, please.
Just do it. Just say it.
Really?
Just say the name.
The winner is Russ Roslani.
Congratulations, Russ. So we'll be getting you that gift card as soon as possible.
Yep, and check us back next week when we review Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
But don't forget,
there's no place like the theater.